buffalo, mastery dog, horses, and the life of the Plain Indians. Scientists believe that the native people of America came here thousands of years ago during the last ice age. These people settled the land from the cold northern area of the extreme end of South America. As the group of people settled different parts of land, they developed their own languages, their own culture, and their own religion. Each group history is important in the history of America. However, it is perhaps the tribes of the central part of the United States that are most recognized. They will be our story today. In 1804, Meriwether Lewis and William Clark led a group of explorers to the Pacific Ocean. They were the first educated Americans to see some of the native tribes of the Great Plains. And they were the first white people these Native American people had ever seen. When the group of explorers neared the eastern side of the Great Rocky Mountain, they met with a tribe of Indians called the Shoshone. Meriwether Lewis was the first to see them. Let us imagine when we met the Lewis near the Rocky Mountain almost 200 years ago. Across a small hay, a group of 60 Shoshone men are riding toward us. The first thing we see is that these men are ready for war. Each is armed with a bow and arrow. Some carry long pole with a sharp knife on the end. They are riding very fast. Some horses seem to be without riders, but a closer look shows that the men are hanging off the side or under the horse necks. They are using the horse body as protection. The horses are painted with many different designs that use blue, black, red, or other colors. Later, we learned that each design had a special meaning for the man who owned the horse. Each one tells a story. For example, the man riding on one horse is a leader during battle. Another has killed an enemy in battle. One of the designs protects the horse and rider. As they came nearer, the Shoshone group see that we are not ready for war. They show their horses but are stay very careful. Meriwether Lewis hold up an open hand as a sign of peace. The leader of the Shoshone does the same. They come closer. The Shoshone are dressed in clothes made from animal skin. Most of these skin are from deer or the American buffalo. The shirts they wear have many designs and tell stories like the designs on the horses. One shows a man has fought in a battle. Another shows a man has been in many raids to capture horses. Still another shows the man saved the life of a friend. Captain Lewis smiles at these men. He again makes a hand sign that means peace. The signs are now returned. Lewis and the Shoshone chief cannot speak each other's language. They can communicate using hand signs. One young Shoshone man comes near. He drops to the ground from his horse. He is tall and looks strong. His hair is black in color and long. He wears one long butt feather in the back of his hair. Some of his hair is held in place by animal fur. His arm has been painted with long lines. We learned that each line represents a battle. There are many lines, but we leave the Shoshone without him adding another one. The Shoshone were only one of many tribes of native people who live in the Great Plains area. The life, culture, and the society of these tribes developed because of the land that was their home. The Great Plains today is a stay hill. Even in a car, traveling at 100 kilometers an hour, it can take 2 long days of driving to cross the Great Plains. The plains run several hundred kilometers north in Canada across the middle of the continent to Mexico in the south. In the east, the Great Plains begin near the Mississippi River and go west to the huge Rocky Mountains. It is the center of the United States. There are big rivers here, deserts and mountains. Other areas are so flat that a person can see for hundreds of kilometers. Millions of kilometers of this land were once covered by a thick ocean of grass. The grass provides food for an animal that make possible the culture of the Indian of the Great Plains. The grass fed the bison, the American buffalo. The buffalo was the center of native Indian culture in the Great Plains. The huge animal provided meat for the Indians, but it was much more than just food. It was an important part of the religion of most of the native people in the Great Plains. The Lakota tribe is one of the people of the Great Plains. The Lakota are sometimes called the Sioux. They believed that everything necessary to life was within the buffalo. Another plain tribe, the Blackfeet, called the animal my home and my protection. The blacks of the huge buffalo provided thick skin, and that was used to make homes for the plain Indian. Other parts were made into clothing. Still other parts became one blanket. Buffalo bones were made into tools. Nothing of the animal was wasted. No one knows how many buffalo were in the North America when Meriwether Lewis first met the Shoshone, but experts say it was probably between 60 million to 75 million. Another animal also helped make possible the Indian culture of the Great Plains. Native Americans first called these animals mastery dogs or big dogs. They had no word for this animal in their language. We know it as the horse. No horses existed in North America before the Spanish arrived in the 1500. In what is now the southern part of the United States, native people hunted, moved, and traveled by foot. Traveling a long distance was difficult, so was hunting buffalo. The horse greatly changed the life of all the people of the Great Plains. If give them a method of travel, it provided a way to carry food and equipment. It made it easier and safer to follow and hunt the buffalo. The horse made it possible to attack an enemy far away and return safely. The number of horses owned became the measure of a tribe's wealth. Spanish settlers rode horses to the small town or center, in what is now the southwestern state of New Mexico. They arrived there in about the year 1609. It's not known how native people in Center We got the first horses in the country. Pahe they trade for them. Pahe they capture them in an attack. Many tribes soon were trading and capturing horses. By the 1750s, all the tribes of the Great Plains had horses. They had become experts at raising, training, and riding horses. They became experts at horse medicine. Each Indian of the Great Plains could ride a horse by the age of 5. As an adult, a young man would have a special horse for work. Another horse would be trained for hunting, and another would be trained for war. An Indian warrior's success depends upon how closely he or his horse work together. George Catlin was an artist who traveled a great deal in the early American West. He painted many beautiful pictures of American Indian. Mr. Catlin said the Plains Indian was the greatest horse rider the world has ever known. He said the moment an Indian rider laid a hand on his horse, he became part of the animal. The buffalo and horse were extremely important to the Plain Indian because the horse made hunting easier. More time could be spent on things like art. The Plain Indian began to make design on their clothing and on special blankets their horses wore. Even common objects were painted with design. The coming of white settlers to the Great Plains was the beginning of the end of the buffalo and horse culture of the American Indian. Settlers did not want buffalo destroy their crops. The buffalo were killed. By the year 1885, the Indians of the Great Plains were mostly restricted to areas of land called reservations. Many of the Great Plains tribes that survive today work hard to keep their traditional cultures. They produce art, music, and clothing. They keep alive the memory of those people who added greatly to the history of America. This Making of a Nation program was written by Paul Thompson.